Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We are live from my mom's basement to watch two teams duke it out, hopefully vying for that last playoff spot. We have the glorified Banner Minions on blue side first against the Dandelion Knights. Now, first off, I got to say, shout out to both of these teams' amazing names. Going all through ranked season, every season, I am nothing but a glorified Banner Minion and award bot. I'm Bucci Boy 989. With me is my main man ZZ Dog. What can we expect from these two teams?
I think we can expect a lot of probably bot-centric gameplay. Definitely GBM plays around bot a lot. Played against them quite a few times in my time. We've been in the same division. They like their bot laner and have a lot of tank-focused top side. For TDK, I haven't had nearly as much experience, and they're having a sub-top, so maybe we'll see some top focus because their top substitute likes to play carries and solo queue, so see how that goes.
And really, what I'm expecting, glorified banner minions backs against the wall. If they 0-2, then playoff contentions, might playoff aspirations really might be out of the window. But hopefully, we see a lot of surprise picks. Maybe not the things that they normally play and do well every time. Maybe pull something out of the left field, surprise your enemy, so that we come into game two with a little more momentum in their favor.
Yeah, and I think if you're GBM here, if you go 0-2, you wind up being 1-7 after this series, and at that point, you're still mathematically in playoff contention, but it relies on other teams not performing up to the level they have been. So if you peter out at this point, it's pretty doomed for you. So hopefully they can make a comeback here because they have been a mainstay in our first season, and so hopefully can make a comeback here in the second one.
I want to see him make the mad dash just as anybody else. We are getting into these pick bands here. First off, Draven taken off the table. So, GBM just trying to put that bot lane on a little bit of a tilt.
Yeah, and a Mumu ban for TDK against GBM. I think that's a good ban. Randomonium likes to play those engagey tanks, and a Mumu is one that he's pretty known for. So taking that off the table is a good call.
And we're going to have to see how these incorporate into the rest of the draft phase because you can take someone off of a comfort pick, but if you give up too many other comfort picks or, too many other really strong laners, you could be potentially setting yourself up for a less than admirable laning phase. So Caitlyn Draven, real bruiser or real beat up your opponent champions taken off the table.
Yeah, and TDK, the name of the game right now is just jungle bans because Nautilus is also a focus ban over towards Randomonium. Randomonium likes to play those tank engaged jungles, and while a lot of people associate Nautilus with the support role, or maybe if you're a fan of China, you associate it with Doinby, but no, it's jungle for GBM usually.
It's off the table and into the first rounds of picks with Silas last ban here. So Xayah locked in for that safety in lane.
Yeah, and it's also aggression in lane, because if you can secure the Xayah Rakan, that's a very strong 2v2 lane, especially with the Caitlyn off the board, which is that traditional counter to it. So, yeah, I might see a lot of bot focus like I thought here, which would be interesting. Kaisa
And
for the
here,
other side.
Sejuani Kaisa, really good combination. Sedge setting up the really safe frontliner with that just rolling meatball concept, tank up as much as you can. I maybe want to see a Trundle come out because I personally love playing Trundle into, and there it is. Love playing Trundle into Sejuani.
Yeah, Trundle is the traditional counter pick to Sejuani, where if the there have been some adaptations recently that the Sejuani can do to make the counter not quite as bad, but if Sejuani takes Aftershock and has her passive on and Trundle ults her, she actually goes to negative resistances after the Aftershock and the passive fall off, so yeah, it's a very strong counter.
What Trundle really does bring is that you can't go a double tank, top lane jungle on the side of the Dandelion Knights because the second one of them come in range, immediately 40% of their tank stats are gone and they're going to get melted by the Xayah brand.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see if this brand is going to be in the support position for GBM or if it's going to go to that mid lane. I would prefer to see it in the mid lane personally because I think Xayah brand isn't really the type of lane that I would like to see from them. I'd like to see more of a engaged sort of champion from Senpai Daisuke. He's one of their best playmakers along with Randomonium, so having him on that like backline DPS isn't the type of role I usually associate with him.
Yeah, and some people want to go mid lane, some people want to go bot lane, some people just want to watch the world burn. We'll see where he goes. We see a lot of picks, a lot of ADC targeted picks when Kai'Sa is already locked in for the Dandelion Knights. Do you think they're just trying to keep the Tristana away from the mid lane?
Yeah, Tristana solo lane has been seeing a lot of prevalence recently. I don't know if the mid from Dandelion Knights plays it. He might. Actually, no, he yes. Okay, so he has played it in a match before for the league. So yeah, probably pick away from the mid lane there. It's an interesting one. With Aatrox and Kai'Sa already locked in when you have the Trundle, I feel like you can kind of let that one through because you'll have such a big meatball in the front that's just so hard to shred through if you go the triple AD comp, but want to take that one away regardless, I guess.
Yeah, and sometimes it's all about putting people off their comfort. So, I'm wondering how they're going to finalize this composition because Kled and Kassadin taken from the side of the Dandelion Knights, just taking those Aatrox counter in the Kled out because Kled's new bear hook on a rope or bear trap on a rope really does do wonders against that Aatrox.
Yeah, bear trap on a rope now gives you not even grievous wounds, but enhanced grievous wounds. It's actually better than regular
Super grievous wounds.
Yeah, it's like that, and plus with Aatrox taking that nerf to his healing already this patch, once you stack that on top of it, he just kind of doesn't have any at that point. So good takeaway there. The Morgana coming through for bot lane. So we're going to see Morgana, Kai'Sa bot lane. This really incentivizes me if I'm GBM to move Brand to mid lane because Brandon to Morgana isn't all that great. If Morgana black shields early, then it can be a pretty favorable matchup because then you can actually break through the shield. But usually your Q, unless you put points into it, which you're not going to do, is not going to by itself break the black shield. So it's really hard to get a stun off.
And one of the benefits that the Dandelion Knights has is if they want to go aggressive, they can flex that Morgana mid and just be a push bot. Just push the lane up, roam for those dark binding in, out of the fog of war. Maybe even, get a few kills on the jungler that way. Really want to see the aggression or if they're able to, pull something like that out of their hat.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one. And we see the LeBlanc come through. So Brand does stay in the support position. LeBlanc has a pretty favorable matchup into Morgana, I believe. You can kind of just shove out the lane with double W and trade with her pretty much forever. Morgana can deny the root, but at the same time, LeBlanc just outtrades her every single time, and it's damn near impossible to bind. So,
all right, wow, double ADC.
I'm assuming that's then going to be the Kai'Sa in the solo lane there. Well, actually, no, because TDK's mid lane actually has been playing a lot of Jinx top recently in solo queue, so this might actually be the Jinx solo lane.
And this is a little bit of the left field that we were looking for in game one. So, hopefully we can get a lot of skirmish power. What TDK is looking for is to get those carries online as fast as possible. So, maybe they fight. Gosh, I can't talk today. Maybe they can flex the Aatrox mid and let Jinx go top, or vice versa. So,
yeah, I'm interested to see because I feel like the Kai'Sa is much better in a solo lane, and even then, you're putting one of these 80 carries into LeBlanc, who can very easily just pop them if she gets even remotely ahead, and they don't have any dash or mobility to get away from that Trundle pillar other than flashing out. So I would expect a lot of mid focus from GBM here because that's a very favorable matchup, regardless of which one winds up in that mid lane.
And one thing about the carries being in a solo lane against the Trundle, one well-positioned pillar can just ruin that person's day. So that's one thing that they have to be careful of is Trundle coming out from behind them, dropping the giant blue, sex toy behind them, and then they just can't get out. That thing is so hard to get past.
Yeah, you don't want to see that big blue thing coming up right from behind. It's a bad time for everyone involved.
And then he comes in with the blue hammer as well. It's the baseball bat just swinging. and hoping for home runs with every strike. So
I'm
let's
I'm more
see.
partial to the traffic cone than
The
that.
traffic cone is really good. I'm just I'm sitting here living in my mom's basement, so I can't really afford these skins. If they're not free, they're not for me.
Well, you don't have the baseball bat unless you get the baseball skin. That one has a trophy, so.
Shit. I got the old school Trundle, so I go with that one. But I really want to see this Garen go aggressive into the Aatrox as well if they are facing off in the top lane. Maybe get some trade damage because the 2v2 on the Trundle Garen does match up a little bit better than the Aatrox Sejuani,
Uh,
assuming Sejuani didn't take Hail of Blades.
okay. I would expect actually that Sejuani Aatrox is better pre-6. Because Sejuani can get her passive stacks off of the Aatrox and stack those up really quickly. Trundle really doesn't become a favorable matchup into Sejuani until he has his ultimate to shred her resistances. So early on, I think that actually goes the way of Sejuani Aatrox if we're talking about the 2v2. In the 1v1, it should be Garen favored though.
And just the silence that Garen does bring really does kind of turn the tide because the Trundle Pillar should interrupt that passive and start that on the cooldown. So if you can do a well-placed pillar, keep Sejuani out of the fight mid-dash, just delay her entry, then allows you to really isolate that Aatrox in the 2v2 fight that's supposed to happen.
Does look like that Jinx is going mid lane. It's an interesting one. I don't know how to feel about that because like Jinx solo lane I'm sure can work, but you're picking it with full knowledge of what you're into. You're into Trundle and LeBlanc.
And at
And
that
that's
point, you're just hoping that LeBlanc just hard shoves into turret so that you can farm. Because if
yeah,
it's
because
anywhere
there's
past
so much
halfway, you're
pressure.
in so much trouble.
Yeah, that's it's an interesting one. I expected it to just be a ton of jungle pressure. I would be very surprised if they just left that one on an island because Sejuani's gonna need to bail Jinx out, and Trundle's gonna want to snowball LeBlanc as hard as possible. So that should be an interesting one. And I mean, if that does wind up being the case, where Trundle and Sejuani are both trying to put all their attention mid lane as much as they can, then I think this is really GBM favor because Garen should be Aatrox in a 1v1, and Brand Xayah has a lot of pressure early. Morgana does have that advantage of denying the brand stun, but the all-in potential is still there, regardless of if you're stunned or not. You can still easily get one shot. So it's gonna be an interesting one.
And one thing chat was kind of bringing up as well is that Kaisa mid is what they were expecting. I was half expecting it, except for the fact of the wave clear just sometimes is not there. It puts you really at risk to walk up and get those Qs off as, especially against somebody like a LeBlanc who can just start snowballing that advantage.
Well, it's like I also would have expected it to be the Kaisa mid because it's a lot more mobile and a lot more has a lot more burst potential. It can set up for ganks better, but knowing the solo queue history beforehand, there are like 10-ish games of Jinx top lane on the mid lane for Dandelion Knights. So definitely has been practicing it. If nothing else, they are prepared. This is their calling. They're ready.
Well, here we go. We are now into the spectator delay. Once we get past this, we will know where these teams stand, at least in game one. You know, while we wait, I just want to kind of see, we've talked about, lane advantages. Where are we going to try and see these teams pressure around the map first? Would you go for that bot lane aggression in the Xayah brand and get out some early flashes? Or would you maybe turn your focus towards setting up Garen on the side of the glorified banner minions for that isolation so that you can turn your focus elsewhere?
I mean, if you're GBM, I feel like it's just snowball LeBlanc. It should be so like such a simple win condition. You have a assassin mid lane up against an AD carry, and the ADC brought teleport, so she doesn't have heal, she doesn't have barrier. You get that burst off, she's just gonna die. She doesn't have any defensive summoner there, so I feel
And
like
on
you
the
definitely just focusing that.
on the side of the Dandelion Knights, are you looking to kind of babysit around that mid lane to help prevent the LeBlanc snowballing, or are you going to turn your focus elsewhere?
Oh, I have no idea if you want to bail out the Jinx. If I'm Sejuani, part of me wants to just sack that mid lane because it feels so doomed and just try and win around bot because Kaisa Morgana and Xayah and Brand is probably the biggest skill match here. It's still slightly Xayah Brand favored in my opinion, but like one gank can just as easily swing it the other direction, and one good bind can just as easily swing it the other direction. So that's where I would go if I was the Sejuani. Interestingly enough, though, for runes, we have Arcane Comet on the Jinx mid, and we have Aftershock for the Sejuani. So not going the Hail of Blades route into the Trundle counter pick.
Interesting. So that's going to be scary for us in the mid game. Once that Trundle hits 6, the second that Trundle or that Sejuani goes in, that's really worrisome because Trundle walks in, just takes all of your tank stats, and the second that Aftershock wears off, you are nothing but a Poro riding a Poro. So
quick check real quick, because I saw an interesting comment in the chat about lethality Jinx build, so I went and double check the build. No, it's actually much more interesting than that. It appears to be Tier, Triforce, Death's Dance, and Last Whisper.
that is an expensive build.
Yes, and one of these, there looks like there's a Maw and a Black Cleaver once they got to full build. So yeah, that is a one really pricey build, too slow to scale. I don't know how I feel about it either. It's like Tier Triforce. Why aren't you just picking something like Corki if you want to go at Triforce Marksman in the mid lane?
Now, if only
I guess
Corki
it was
was
banned
not
this
banned,
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Even then, like Lucian is a much better Triforce ADC, harkening back to that old school like Season 3 Lucian. So
and as we get into the pregame loading screen, we always have to have the fashion showdown here with the Arcade Kaisa and Bewitching Morgana kind of taking up a lot of the attention. You know, they're just kind of right in your face, those big balloons, but the skin game definitely on the side of the Dandelion Knights. They're definitely winning this game starting off. Let's see if they can take that momentum, carry it on into the laning phase, and come out with a lot of aggression and victory.
hey man, let's not discount Zaya and LeBlanc in that regard. The LeBlanc is very vanilla in this game.
Very vanilla, but Brand not bringing the zombie Brand skin, or
well, we do have Pacific Rim Aatrox though. So
do have Pacific Rim Aatrox. So listen, if there are aliens, there's a giant mecha Aatrox there to fight them. Loading
I guess
into
you could
game.
maybe consider Cosmic Dusk Zaya an alien. I don't know how the lore for the Cosmic skins work, but it sounds spacey, right?
We will get in and see how it works out. So here we go. We are up and running. Game 1 is afoot. We got Morgana with the stopwatch. So great rune choice there from the Morgana.
Yeah, it looks like Brand also echoing that. So both supports going sorcery and
ooh, and an interesting just start off to the game here from the Dandelion Knights. All 5 grouping up top, going toward that Tribush. Interesting path. And here we go. Are they going to catch this Garen? Garen did make it to the bush first.
Them out.
Oh, run, Garen, run!
He should be fine unless Morgana like flashes for it. I don't think there's really any danger there.
They're gonna try and catch him. You know, not in range there from the W from the Sejuani. He did get clipped a little bit by Aatrox, but just a little bit of a trade there for
this Jinx really wants that tier as fast as possible. Start Sapphire Crystal refillable potion.
And that is very scary because you're missing the 80 health that you can get from the Doran's Blade.
And you also don't get that extra sustain that you would get from like a corrupting potion. I already don't agree with the pick. I don't know how to feel about the start. That almost makes it feel even worse for me. I mean, maybe you're thinking like I'm just gonna get so absolutely dumpstered early by LeBlanc that I just need to have the Sapphire Crystals so I can afford tier first back. But if that's your outlook, then why did you pick this last pick?
And we're gonna see how it unfolds here in just a second. Now, both junglers, I'm sorry, not both junglers. Trundle is out of vision, so they're not entirely sure where he's going after that red buff. Looks like he's going to go toward Krugs. Now, Morgana trying to get a little bit of sneaky vision in there, watching the rotation. Now, Brandon's eye did the smart route going around Krugs for that in range here. So just a really slow start. Just glorified banner minions getting that information on where the Sejuani is at all times.
I'm not sure if they spotted it or not, but Trundle
good root here coming down from the Morgana. They're going to get a lot of trade damage. Now, Brand getting the W off as well as the auto. So
Yeah, very good route there. But no, as I was saying, I don't know if they spotted it or not, but Randomonium's W on the Trundle actually goes over the wall, so I think it might have been showing on the vision there from the Morgana ward, but like if you're not staring directly where you put that ward, you're probably not going to see it. It's not going to appear on the map. So.
Yeah, and I didn't see any pings there, which usually when you see something like that, you at least do usually communicate that somehow. So hopefully they did spot that out and know that Trundle is on the Krugs. Top lane is just trading one for one, blow for blow. So not a lot happening there. I don't think we're going to see any aggression until either Sejuani or Trundle make a stop.
Yeah, it looks like Aatrox is kind of getting the better of Garen, like super early on with those Q harass, but as Garen gets higher in level and his passive gets stronger, it should just become easier and easier for him.
Oh, and we got Trundle roping around behind this Jinx, but I'm pretty sure the Jinx spotted him with that ward there in the top rush. And Trundle's probably just going to get a ward over the wall and go toward Scuttle. So he's actually going to be able to clear that ward.
Sejuani reset the red buff there, unfortunately, so I don't know if she's going to be able to take this one.
She has Smite, but it would be very dangerous. Now, Trundle, I don't know if he knows this, but he has the complete run of that side of the jungle. If he wanted to, he could go for a tri-bush gank. Topside.
Yeah, topside's looking pretty free. There's no vision up there yet for Aatrox, and he's walking right into it. I think he was spotted out, though, there when Aatrox walked down, so going to back off there.
And Aatrox doing a really good job there. Just game sense there, just kind of sniffing him out and dropping the word in tri-bush so he can't get funny with it. So not a lot happening right now. We got Trundle trying to sneak into a gank. Now he is not in vision. He's going to drop the pillar right behind him. Flash is still up for the Aatrox, but I think he's going to have it out with a dash. So really well played there from the side of the Dandelion Knights top laner. So Waffle's really getting out of there free.
Yeah, but as you can see, despite the Aatrox getting that harass down onto Garen, he's just slowly healing it back up with passive, and he's accumulating a bit of a CS lead. So after this wave, he should have about a 6 or 7 CS lead, and at 4 minutes, that's pretty good. That's about a wave. So.
And that's really handy there. So the one thing I want to see from the Garen, as we got the LeBlanc chains coming in, now the pillar does come behind, but Jinx is running out of mana here. But, you know, one turret shot traded, but not a lot taken other than the CS advantage. Or the pressure.
LeBlanc does still have a lot of CS left to pick up, though, so it looks like the lane is about even. But good on Jinx being able to get out of these ganks and not even expending Flash yet. So she's really playing safe and getting up to that tier power spike, I guess.
Now we have Sejuani coming top. A minion wave is in their favor for the Aatrox.
Garen is very low. They could dive this if they can.
And with the sweeper just used, good purchase there from the Sejuani. They know that there's
Garen
no vision.
should know, though, because Aatrox got the Sejuani passive when she stepped close.
And I'm pretty sure he saw her there. So just it's going to crash into turret here. Aatrox probably going to reset. So not a lot happening in the early game. We got some interesting moves, you know, a little bit of pressure advantage here as Garen is walking toward the Aatrox. Aatrox, you know, trying to pull a Garen on the Garen.
But looking at this, Garen's got a 15.
And this good flash out from the Garen. You know, little greedy, maybe just overstaying. He thought the Aatrox backed, but he's gonna have to blow teleport for that to get back in lane.
Yeah, but crucially, like, he's still up 2.5 waves here, so good job accumulating your own CS lead. You're up about 200-ish gold, so that's really going to be beneficial for him on this first back.
And he was able to teleport in, gets pulled back into a little bit of a combo, but not much traded.
Yeah, you can't really run directly backwards from an Aatrox chain unless you're like Rammus or something with just insane move speed. Otherwise, you're going to get pulled back every time, so not quite the pathing you'd like to see there, but he should be fine.
So with the Mountain Drake coming up first, I'm not looking to see both of these teams kind of pressure it immediately, but I do want to see them try to get some vision in that area so they can spot out the enemy team if they go toward it.
Yeah, and they do have lane prio on the side of TDK right now, bot lanes, and Sejuani is in the area. Trundle's starting to path down now, but you have your bot pressure. You could probably just walk over and take it right now.
Got, again, a little bit more of a trade top lane. So really good jungle pathing from the side from both teams here. A slight mistake around the red buff didn't really cost them that, too much thanks to the lane pressure that they have.
Yeah, so 20 actually still having a CS lead despite having to take that early back.
And Trundle spotted out the Sejuani. He's going to try and just walk up and steal it, but he's going to get dash over the wall for the Sejuani. She's out scot-free. He's going to take that scuttle. Really good.
The big deal here for the Sejuani is that she had to back super early, so she doesn't have any combat stats. She just had to buy that
there's the
second
trade power in the mid. You got Jinx brought down to 350 HP from one rotation from the LeBlanc, just catching her out.
I mean, yeah, expect to see a lot more of that. It's not going to get any easier from here. The more AP LeBlanc gets, the harder it's going to be. Jinx does still have
good
a flash
from the flash out from the Aatrox, so he spotted out the Trundle going there up river through that ward. Was able to get out. Jinx Rocket is going to be a little off there, missed the Garen. Good attempt. Now we have Brand rotating mid lane, hoping to catch this Jinx out even more.
Jinx still does have flash, so I don't think there's really any kill threat here.
And while she has the tier, she's just really low on mana. She can't do too much to kind of counter shove this aside from auto attack.
I mean, you're not even going to charge up the tier all that fast as Jinx either, because you pretty much just need to spam rockets to do that, and that's just going to drain your mana bars we're doing here. So,
and once you complete the mana mune, it'll get a lot easier. You got LeBlanc getting a pink ward into that bush right on the bottom side of red side, so the good vision there. Now Sejuani's going to walk through it, but they'll have the information.
Jinx is about 300 gold away from that full mana mune, and I imagine that's when she's going to want to take that first back, because that's going to make charging up her tier a heck of a lot easier, because then you can just auto attack with your machine gun. You don't need to worry about blowing all your mana on those rockets. We'll see if
good trade there. The good route from the Morgana while the Brand was trying to get aggressive onto the Kai'Sa.
It's a very back and forth bot lane, very even CS as well, so doing a good job of keeping it even and stable down there.
And with bot lane backing, I wanted to see them communicate that information, because they could have made an early force onto the Dragon. You got LeBlanc going forward, flash out forced by the Jinx. LeBlanc still getting the trade damage, and with the ultimate chains copied. So really good aggression there from the side of LeBlanc that we were looking for.
Yeah, but I feel like alt chains is not what you want to use there, though. I feel like you go for the double Q in that situation, and maybe you can get the burst damage for the kill, but regardless, you got the Jinx flash, you got her to back, so now you can try and make up that CS lead that she has over you and bring it back to stable.
And they're forcing Dragon with that pressure, since they forced the Jinx back, and bot lane is not in position to counter. So really good, really good macro there from the side of the glorified banner minions.
Yeah, that's the first real advantage we're seeing in this game. It's still only a 200, 300 gold advantage for the side of GBM right now in this 10-minute game, so much slower gameplay today than we've had recently.
And this gold is pretty even. It's barely even 100 gold up on either side, so it's just the fluctuation of gold is going to be really steep here in just a little while once fights start breaking out.
Yeah, see, it's interesting because while the numbers up there at the top are really even, we are seeing a lot of gold disparity in specific lanes. Because right now Garen has a 600 gold lead over Aatrox with that big 35 CS lead, but that's made up on the other side by Sejuani, who has about a 400 gold
good pillar there from the Trundle, but Jinx should be able to sidestep her way out of this. No problem, just take half HP in damage and force them out.
I mean, you still don't like to see that trade, though, because now you're at half health. LeBlanc's just waiting for her full combo to be back up, and you can kind of just flash combo in one shot at this range.
Yeah, and we'll see it with the Ignite up. I want to see that aggressive play from the LeBlanc. I want to see LeBlanc start taking her lane and under her control, force these plays out.
Yeah, thankfully Jinx does have that refillable pot to keep her topped off and out of kill range, but Trundle
we got
coming
Sejuani catching out the Garen here, so he's going to be able to get out.
LeBlanc's roaming over, but so is Aatrox.
Jinx Rocket is just going to be a little bit off. Garen is waiting for that passive regen to come in. He's going to spot the Aatrox just dash over the wall.
LeBlanc could go for a flash combo.
Oh, LeBlanc got the chains here. You're going to get the Q and then the auto attack. First blood to the LeBlanc. Very well done while using that corrupting push and getting the additional damage off there.
Yeah, and
aside from that, aside from that, really not a lot happening. Garen is able to stay in lane thanks to that passive.
Second back here for Jinx, picking up Merc Treads. You can tell this lane is not going how she would like it to.
Yeah, and it's not a bad pickup, but maybe a Maw of Malmorius, is probably the better target for that magic resist just because of the shield that you get and the AD component. But we're gonna have to wait and see if the Jinx is able to start stacking up this tier a little bit faster and start turning it into that Miramana and get the damage on. I want to see some plates taken.
See, the good news for Jinx, though, is that she does have about a 20 CS lead, so she's actually still ahead in gold over LeBlanc despite the first blood. But at the same time, you're an ADC mid lane into LeBlanc, so even with the gold being even, you're still inherently at a disadvantage in that lane. She's looking to maybe pick up blue buff here.
Oh, 1 HP! There it goes.
Unfortunate. Yeah, it's okay. That one. It's not going to cost her much, though. Maybe a couple of minions mid lane.
I think she'll be able to make it there. Now, I'm glad that they made that change to the jungle items where you can't kill it at 1 HP. Trundle's looking for a gank mid, gets the pillar in place, sets the LeBlanc up for the chains, but, not a lot of damage taken thanks to those Merc Treads.
Yeah, not willing to go too far in the tower there for Trundle, so can't really follow up too much on LeBlanc without taking tower shots, and that's not what you want.
I want to see this Trundle take maybe some better pathing toward the mid lane. He is just walking through those bushes. I want to see him trying to get behind between the Raptors and mid topside bush.
See, that's why the Trundle counterpick to Sejuani is kind of starting to fall out of favor a bit, is because despite it being a favorable matchup, once you get to that team fight stage, the Sejuani can still make so many more plays aggressively early than Trundle can, because Trundle is limited by his ability to just walk at you and throw a pillar, whereas Sejuani can take intricate gank paths with her Q over walls.
And Sejuani's looking for a gank bot, but this Brand is looking to combo out on her just to say, hey, I know you're there. It doesn't matter. Now you got a root coming down from the Morgana, but the Xayah is going to ultimate out of it and at least spare herself a lot of damage there while Trundle takes topside. Jinx Rocket coming down, heal blown. Oh. Now you got a lot of people going deep. They get the return kill onto the Jinx, so that's really good. A lot of summoners burnt from the from the Xayah.
Yeah, bit unlucky there from Xayah. She flashed a bit too early. I think she thought that the Sejuani ult wouldn't hit Brand, so she had to flash out.
Getting summoned top. Now this LeBlanc is starting to get really hammered out by this Jinx. LeBlanc is extremely low right now. And they're going to get the trade kill onto Brand as well as the turret. First turret and kill, additional kill goal going to the side of the Dandelion Knights. Let's see if they rotate this over to the Ocean Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that tier Jinx starting to scale up. Got 500 mana from tier so far, so got a ton of AD stacking up. Man, those rockets are gonna hurt. I don't know.
We're seeing glorified banner minions trying to force this tower. Now, Rift Hero got the charge off, but not able to secure the tower, or it's too late for any sort of turret plate gold to be taken. But these lanes are starting to really ramp up for the Dandelion Knights with Aatrox kind of dodging out that 1v2.
Yeah, no, and the longer this game goes, too, the more I think it favors TDK, because this LeBlanc really couldn't push as much of an advantage as she would have liked from lane. And now that Jinx is going this really awkward mana-immune scaling build, she's really going to scale hard once she hits that power spike. Kai'Sa also going mana-immune means they're once both of those come online, you're just gonna have so much late game potential there.
Yeah, and Morgana still having her stopwatch is going to be able to set her up for a really good dive here in a little while. Now Garen and Aatrox still having that fight top, trying to see who can out-trade who. You got LeBlanc rotating top, landing the chain. Oh, just missed the chains. Flash forced out from the Aatrox. Now, Kaisa going aggressive on the Brand solo, getting the kill. Good Black Shield there from the Morgana, but that's a little bit too late. She does get bursted out. Morgana chains come down. The Sejuani ult over the wall, going to secure that kill. Really well done. Now, Jinx is forcing off the Trundle from joining this fight. Good pressure from the side of the Dandelion Knights.
What is Jinx building now with that second Sapphire Crystal?
I am not sure, but I'm sure we're going to love it.
Does Essence Reaver still build out of Sapphire Crystal?
Not out of Sapphire Crystal, no.
I know it used to. But maybe she's going Clawfields into Triforce? I'm just so perplexed by this pick. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, but that was a really good fight. You know, total kills 4 for 2. Now, Trundle getting the Morgana, but he's not going to be able to get much because of that Dark Binding coming out. Yeah, Scattercat, you know, brings up a really valid point. Triforce is probably the best bet. Now, the Warhammer, I'm not sure where she's going to build with that, but
oh my god,
Jinx is getting collapsed on
chunk there, though?
Now, really big damage. Oh, man. Big trades here.
That Jinx W is doing so much damage to Xayah there. That health bar there, that's 1 auto attack and 2 zaps. That's brutal.
Yeah, and this is the part that, you know, starts to scare the side of the glorified banner minions. Now, Sejuani going for an aggressive charge forward. Kaisa is going to ult forward for the Brand, get the kill there. Really well done from the side of the Dandelion Knights. Now we have Eclipse just really starting to, you know, really stand out here with getting those aggressive picks, using the ultimate, getting into position. So we got to teleport bot lane from the Garen to stop this Aatrox push, but top lane is going to go down here in just probably another minion wave with Sedge right now proxying the wave.
Too.
Yeah, and Trundle comes out on the Sejuani, so this is where, you know, Sejuani's going to have to start to stall out, you know, get out of the fight, waiting for that Q charge to come up. Oh, good, more binding and ignite there, secures the kill onto the Kaisa. Here's the Sejuani going to throw the ultimate. I'm sorry. We got LeBlanc coming in for the aggression there. Now she's going to get the shutdown on the Kaisa. I want to see this Brand get an ult off on in a team fight here.
Yeah, unfortunately there for Randomonium, the Sejuani did not have Aftershock on when he ulted, because the Sejuani had not yet CC'd anyone, so he ulted a bit too soon, couldn't quite shred as many resistances as you would like, and because of that, Sejuani does
LeBlanc going, stopping the back for the Jinx, so now we're starting to see the slippery LeBlanc over the wall lookouts that she's going for the picks.
Yeah, that was a really cheeky one. The LeBlanc was sitting in that bush for like 2 seconds waiting for Q to get up before she backed out. I think Jinx was just window shopping or didn't see her, but she was in there for a bit waiting on the cooldown.
So we got a Jinx ultimate coming mid. Just going to clear out the minions. Really good job there. So, and here we're kind of back to a little lull here, clearing out vision. You know, don't think they're going to be able to pressure this early of a Baron, but if they get that second Drake coming up in 40 seconds, we might see a rush.
Looks like the Mura mana is now complete for the Jinx at 20 minutes. That's a really fast transform. I would not expect it to be that fast for Jinx.
Yeah, and it's just getting those ultimates off.
Kaisa's barely over halfway, and Jinx is already done.
And Jinx is going to shove this mid lane and get this turret. Maybe in a little while. Call me a liar. You got LeBlanc getting the chains out onto this Jinx. Now they're looking for the kill here. You know, get one really good pillar can kind of stop this Jinx from running away. She has no mobility. Oh my gosh, LeBlanc, get the kill. Someone get the kill. She's got 90 health, 97 HP. She's still running away. She's running toward the enemy team.
LeBlanc's getting zoned off by the Aatrox.
Oh my gosh, she's going to stall it out. You got Sejuani there buying a little bit of time. Xayah's going to be able to get the kill, but Trundle is now in a very bad spot trying to isolate the Jinx. Really good collapse there from the side of the Dandelion Knights. Now they might be able to catch this LeBlanc.
Still so far anyway, it's a positive trade for GBM because they do get the shutdown gold.
Yeah, and they killed the jungler. You know, we're probably not going to see them force the Baron, but, you know, there's no vision there from the side of the glorified banner minions, and they still have a carry alive. They can force it if they want.
Yeah, it does look like the Triforce is going to be the next item for that Jinx. I guess after that, she might be going for that Maw with the Claw Fields to try and help her against the LeBlanc burst, but
And just missed the binding there from the LeBlanc. Would have spelled certain doom. Now we got to teleport bot lane from the Jinx. They're going to try and get this dragon.
and securing a mountain would give them a lot of threat on that Baron because you have double ADC. While your Jinx doesn't really have any attack speed, I mean, she has a lot higher AD than you would expect at this point, so
And we got the
probably still
teleport top to
takes Baron
stop that push. So that's really good objective control there from the side of the Dandelion Knights. So I want to see them start clearing out a lot more of this vision that that glorified banner minions was able to kind of sneak in, into the Baron pit. They were able to finally get control over that place, that area of the map again. Lanes are resetting.
Now that Jinx has picked up that blue buff, she's sitting at 45% CDR.
Which that W is gonna pack a punch.
Yeah, we've been seeing it earlier. That W is hurting a lot. Like,
And
that long range poke on Zaya does like a third of her health.
5 points into the zap, 5 points into the flame chopper. She doesn't even care about the switcheroo damage.
No wonder she has no attack speed. Her Q doesn't work.
But you don't need it if your W comes up every 2 seconds and you're landing the damage.
I mean,
2.2 second cooldown on that zap.
But,
and you get enough base AD from the Mirror Mana to actually clear the minion waves out. So we got a Garen starting to win this trade top. He's going to get his Q up here and get the silence, but not able to secure the kill. You got Morgana roaming top, but going to pull back.
Yeah, no, I think somebody needs to tell Jinx that Earth was delayed. It didn't come out this patch. You don't need to play.
What? Why would they delay Earth? That is my favorite game mode.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out this patch, but it didn't. So I think Jinx didn't get the memo. She's still building like it's Earth. Got to play for that W.
And the cooldown is coming up. Another blue buff onto that Jinx is going to help her spam it even more. Now, Zaya really low, below half HP from just a little bit of poke here. So maybe they can get a nice ultimate off from the Jinx to secure that kill while LeBlanc is pushing bot, getting that turret.
Yeah, and if you're GBM here, I think you're pretty happy with the current state of things.
Now, the ping come out on the Garen. Now, Garen's getting locked down. He is going to die before really getting off a lot of trade. Brand ultimate coming across. Trundle's sitting in the middle of the team, absorbing some of that damage, but he's going to go down as well. A lot of trade damage coming down from the side of the Brand and Zaya, but they're not going to be able to secure any kills.
Unlucky there by Zaya. The feathers were just in front of the enemy backline. If she was just a little bit farther forward, she could have pulled those through and gotten a double kill onto that Morgana and Sejuani.
And Morgana's use of the Zonias also helped avoid that death. So that was really good job from the Morgana.
Okay, if you're GBM, you're probably no longer happy about the current state of things. That one was a quick turn. Not go their way.
It was a quick turn that we saw, just one really fast team fight there, just kind of set the tone for hopefully the next 10 minutes into the end of the game.
Yeah, and see, that's the crucial thing about the vision there. If you're Garen and you're going for that flank, you got to keep in mind you're walking right by Baron Pit, which probably has a ward on it. Spot you out on that one. They all just turn to collapse and lights out.
And really good damage there from Morgana is not going to drop. She's going to live with very sliver 100 HP on that Morgana. So good attempt there from the Brand LeBlanc trying to get a catch, but Black Shield coming in handy there.
I want to see TDK set up for Baron. You have double ADC, your Kai'Sa has her Gwynsu's online. You have a mountain, you take this very quickly. So I would like to see them maybe set up a bait. They should win the 5v5 at this stage as well. They're up 4,000 gold. It feels like right now they're struggling to find a place to really get an advantage. It's kind of devolving into that NA RAM, and I think that favors GBM right now, who's behind and just wants to try and hit some item breakpoints.
And right now, at least the Garen can go toe-to-toe with the Aatrox. With that Thornmail, or that Bramble Vest at least completed, he's cutting a lot of the healing. But, not a lot of poke coming out from the Brand. They're just clearing out some vision and resetting.
Yeah, it's just both teams content to farm it up, and LeBlanc's going right back to trying to finish off that low bot tower.
Yeah, And we're going to see them probably positioning here for the Dragon coming up in 26 seconds. Not a lot coming out. I want to see if TDK can close out this game in a one-sided fashion, because that's what the game's looking like at this point.
I want to see LeBlanc go back here. Not Baron. Dragon is spawning soon, and LeBlanc has no mana to really fight over it with. And since she's delayed that recall, that means it's pretty much just a free Baron or free Dragon rather. Can't talk today. Over to TDK because she just can't contribute right now.
It's a common problem, just not being able to talk today. We got to do something. Look for a cure. Fund the can't talk today. Shot. Hopefully we can get this fixed. Brand getting a little bit of trade damage there on the Sejuani, at least taking the passive away.
Yeah, but Sejuani does have that Warmog, so she'll just heal that right back in no time.
They're going right to the Dragon. So they know that the vision has all been swept out. So this will be a pretty free Mountain Dragon. Hopefully they can just rotate this right to Baron or maybe a big team fight.
Hey, you have double Mountain, double ADC now. You are so good at taking that Baron. Like, give them like 8 seconds alone, and it should just be gone.
And especially since the Jinx is starting to get a few points into that switcheroo, starting to get that attack speed up. So we're looking for Brand getting a little bit of trade damage onto the Morgana. Black Shield is coming out, but not a lot taken. They're just kind of clearing these waves and funneling that gold into the Xayah. So what about item completions? Because that's going to dictate a lot of the next part of the game.
I don't... Okay, well...
quick interruption here, because we have Sejuani coming bot lane. See if LeBlanc can get out of this gank. Good dash, but here's the knock-up. Where's the ultimate going to come in? Flash from the Sejuani. Sejuani, she's going really hard for this fight, but no one is there. Zhonya's coming out. Probably not needed. Could have saved that for a little while longer. A lot used for not a lot of gain.
I mean, if you're Sejuani, you're probably fine trading flash for flash with LeBlanc there. LeBlanc's flash is worth a lot more than yours. If I feel like TDK, right now you just wait until Sejuani has Stone Plate. She's about 40 gold off of it on this next back, I believe, in and about. So probably does a full clear of bot side, and she has it. After that, you don't fear anything. Sejuani's too tanky for them to really break through with just the Xayah right now, because Xayah doesn't have Last Whisper yet. Your AD carries are both at a pretty good spot right now, so...
And I would have liked to have seen Sejuani make that play when people are around to help capitalize on those cooldowns burnt. The flashes for flash, the ultimate used, the Zhonya's used. So, but, they are now positioning around Baron to see if we can clear out some vision and secure that buff.
Looks like TDK elected to give Jinx the red over Kai'Sa. I don't agree with that decision. Your Jinx isn't attacking nearly as much as Kai'Sa is. She's just spamming W.
Yeah, and those W spams are coming out really strong against
Oh my god.
2 Ws takes them down, to 1700 HP. They are going to catch out the Sejuani just a little bit. Now, Morgana's into the back line. She's going to get the ultimate off, but she's going to go down before it can complete. Now, this is really good for the side of the GBM. They are able to secure 2 kills there.
Get the Zhonya's off in time, it looked like. That could have been big for TDK, but... just not quite getting that, not expecting the burst coming through there.
And they're going to use this momentum to get some of that gold back in tower value. So
I think they can probably turn to go Baron here if they want. They saw that LeBlanc chunked out Kai'Sa. She probably has to back. You have 2 dead. You have a Mountain Dragon. I think it's
definitely force this. You got Mountain Dragon and the Brand passive. I mean, that is a significant amount of burn damage, just max HP on those objectives.
Looks like it's just a bit too risky for them, though. They don't want to go for it.
Now, I can't blame them. They did just get a chunk of gold. Maybe go back, buy, reset, get back before, the TDK can really complete that Baron buff.
I'd like to see Xayah, I know you... Okay, so she just finishes the Infin. I would have liked to see a Last Whisper come out before she finished that Infin. That Sejuani is just going to be so impossible to kill because, LeBlanc has no sustained damage. Brand kind of burns with Leandries, but at the same time, you're kind of relying on your ADC to try and break through that front line, and if you can't one-shot the Sejuani, she just heals up with Warmogs, and everyone's seen a pro game where there's just this big bulky tank with Warmogs that goes down to 100 HP, walks out, comes back 10 seconds later, and then you've exhausted all your resources and you're just kind of screwed. So,
But what we just saw, that was a big team fight catch. They were able to isolate the Sejuani there. Now, she wasn't really able to capitalize on those tank stats. She did get taken down, but Sejuani doesn't do that much damage to someone who can pump out sustained damage like Xayah. So we're gonna see a collapse from the TDK onto this Garen. While Baron is up, I want to see the glorified banner minions force the Baron.
yeah, I know you
They're
see
running
3
over.
people bot side.
They're going. They started up the Baron. Here we go. We got a Baron fight. Sejuani has to run across the map, but that thing is dropping. 8,900 already. Got TP coming in from the side of the Aatrox. You got teleport coming in from the Garen. Oh, and Brand was able to get picked out on the back of the fight. Now here comes the Sejuani ult used on the Trundle. Trundle's going to be able to stand in the middle. Xayah is able to melt the Aatrox. Now Garen does go down here. Trundle is getting picked off. Xayah just trading one for one.
Xayah isn't even kiting.
Quadra kill for the Xayah.
Throwing out
come on.
DPS.
Zone is used. Oh, here. Oh, the missed time on the W. It's going to come down to this fight here. Can the... Whew.
Nah, if you're LeBlanc, you can't take that. The W
You
cooldown is
cannot.
just so low for Jinx that, like, even if you dodge the first one, it's pretty much instantly up.
Here's the Jinx. Oh, just by the butt cheeks. Woo-hoo-hoo. Real close.
That was a really close fight there. Xayah really popping off.
Xayah
I will
came
critique
up
maybe if she
huge.
kited a little more, it would have went a little better. She kind of just stood there and dealt the damage, which I guess is all they really needed.
Xayah came up huge that fight, sitting on 2,600 gold in the inventory. Buy your item so that when you respawn, you can just run out of base.
I want to see a Mortal Reminder, I think. Get that healing reduction onto the Aatrox. Get that pen for the Sejuani. Aatrox is also building armor now, going into that GA. You have armor on Kai'Sa and the Zhonya's as well as on the Morgana. There's just so much armor on that other team. But it elects to go for the 100% crit instead.
Which is not bad. Phantom Dancer really beneficial. Now we have the side of the TDK just re-securing that Baron vision as Garen and Aatrox are just fighting around Dragon. No teleports are up right now, so it's going to come down to this fight. Can they get a pick? Looking for the Trundle Pillar to come out of the ground.
Garen's just trading with Aatrox on the bot side of the map, too. Just really chasing after him.
And that was a good trade in his favor. All right, so, game kind of reset here. Just each team looking for picks. We are kind of at that point where that next mistake could potentially cost the game. Yeah, all right, so TDK forcing the Baron buff here. You got Sejuani charging over the wall. Are the glorified banner minions going to be able to catch this out? That thing is going down quick. It's going to go down without a contest here.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, you leave TDK alone with that Baron for like 7-8 seconds, and the double ADC just burns through that so quickly.
Don't think they respected the speed of the Baron take. So, Jinx ult coming out over Dragon buff just to see if anybody's there, but no one, they're not going to get any objectives. So just TDK getting that Baron and Dragon for free right now. Yeah,
and I kind of have to criticize the itemization here from GBM. The Trundle is going for Iceborne, and the Garen is going for Frozen Heart, which inherently, like, the Frozen Heart is fine, I think, but the Iceborne Gauntlet I really disagree with. You're getting completely shredded by Kai'Sa and Jinx here, and Kai'Sa's doing more
and the Xayah's almost caught out. Really good reflexes there from the Xayah, dodging out that ult and still getting the root, getting a lot of damage down onto that Sejuani. Now let's see if they can keep her low. Brand ultimate coming down onto the back line, so bringing that Xayah down to half HP, which is one Brand ultimate.
Yeah, as I was saying, like, you can see this Trundle, he just doesn't have health. He's got 2,500 HP because he's going for that Iceborne here. But you don't need the damage from that. It's not really giving you anything. You can rely on your Xayah to do the DPS, on the Brand to do the DPS. You don't need to provide damage yourself.
And
just try and soak it.
Of going for that is getting those slow zones so that Xayah can start running away from some of these champions. Like if Aatrox jumps on her, if I get the slow zone from the Iceborne Gauntlet, that's at least a little bit more movement speed that my team has compared to the anybody diving onto the Zaya.
Well, that's all well and good until you realize you're never going to get close enough to somebody because you're going to die first.
Yep. So Garen is trying to sneak a little bit of vision there, but not a lot to gain. Dragon's not even spawning for another 3.5 minutes. So just a game reset. Baron buff is probably going to go down without a lot taken. Kai'Sa's pushing top lane here, so we'll see what they can do with it.
Yeah, TDK seems to want to keep Xayah split pushing in that side lane. They've sent their top lane quite a few times this game, but it's really hard as the ADC by yourself to really make anything happen in that side lane. I don't know what the thought process is there. I feel like you go 1-3-1 with
All right, we got a teleport coming in from the Jinx into the backline. Trundle is down. Oh, good flash out. Now Jinx ult coming out. Is it going to secure the kill? No. Now they were able to take the Aatrox down. Garen is now in the fight. So here's a silence getting this damage off, just kind of delaying more of this Baron buff. So this is really good job from the side of the glorified banner minions, and maybe a little bit of a misstep there from the side of TDK.
Trundle managed to get out of that somehow, and I am totally surprised.
Oh, Garen rooted up by the Dark Binding. Morgana, staying out of the reach of the LeBlanc, not letting the trade damage come in. Now the poke from the Jinx coming down. Trundle's getting shredded again. Just came back from base, getting melted by that Kai'Sa.
See, that's what I mean. You just don't have any health. Once you get hit by like one Kai'Sa passive proc, it's just all gone.
Good absorb there from the brand. Support saving live. This is how we win. Now they should be able to take this turret down. They'll at least get something for the Baron buff. Just keeping them poked down here. Oh, and that Jinx just landing a lot of damage. Good ultimate used by the Kai'Sa, or the Xayah there, to sidestep the Kai'Sa. Because if he landed that, it was the LeBlanc getting the kill on the Kai'Sa in return. All right, this is where we want to see one brand ultimate in the team can just kind of melt all of them. Now, really good trades there from the LeBlanc, kind of pushing that Jinx out of the lane here.
These Jinx Ws are just destroying GBM, though.
Sitting on 333 AD. Jinx is max level right now, highest level in the entire game. So that's got a lot to do with it. Now we have, a lane reset here. Baron buff has expired. Dragon's coming up. Elder Dragon's coming up in 1 minute.
I don't know how to feel about this Jinx pick still. I still feel like it shouldn't be working. Like, it's doing so much damage, but I feel like it's still so abusable in lane. Like, if they pick it again next game, I'd be interested to see the response from GBM. I think the Trundle pick isn't really working out for them. Like, yes, it's good into Sejuani, but it's not as, good at pressuring early, which is probably the reason they picked the Jinx here, is because there's just not enough pressure to really punish that super passive lane phase that the Jinx has to take.
And I want to see GBM not giving up these objectives for free. So I want to see them contest the Dragon. We've seen them fight multiple times. We know that they can go toe-to-toe with this team, even while at a deficit.
I want to see the Xayah back and sell that. Well, I want to see her use the Control Ward and back, because she has 2,400 gold right now. Back and buy a Last Whisper.
And here we are. We have the side of GBM getting sandwiched here. You got Aatrox coming in behind, maybe over the wall here in just a second, onto that brand. Sejuani ult coming out, catching out the LeBlancs. The LeBlancs force the Zhonya's. She's going to go down. Oh, this could be the fight. Jinx getting a double kill right now. Trundle is now going to be just downed by the Kai'Sa. Brand trying to get aggressive, maybe a little too greedy. Flash forward, secures the kill for the Kai'Sa. Sejuani over the wall onto the Garen, just getting the passives in for the root, and there's a triple kill. So Elder Dragon, they should be able to push this for the win with a 35-second death timer on 2 members.
Oof. Yeah, you hate to see that. The front line felt hesitant to block for LeBlanc there. Maybe you could say it's a mistake on LeBlanc to be going that overly aggressive. I think LeBlanc really, this game, hasn't been able to find the flanks that she needs to get onto that back line. She's kind of just been trying to dash through the front line, and it eventually came back to bite her there.
And she was probably just feeling a little bit too comfortable. Just, hey, I have the dash out, and, I can get this, but then just got sideswipe there by a Sejuani ultimate. So they're going to get 2 inhibitors and then rotate straight to Baron, utilizing that Elder Dragon buff to take this final objective and hopefully just 5-man it down top lane.
Xayah buys Warden's Mail. Why?
I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the buy.
I guess she wants like Randuin's or something, but no one's critting her.
It might kind of be like a final stand here. You know, I have no other gold to buy anything else. I mean,
She's
1,000
sitting
gold.
on 2,000 gold.
Yeah,
she has enough for Last Whisper, or she would have had enough.
It's an interesting buy. An interesting buy there. It could also be possibly a misclick, you know. I'm not sure how it happened. It just has happened. So Jinx Rocket coming down mid lane, gonna try and push out these push out GBM out of mid lane. So I want to see all 5 members of TDK just group up top and push it. Let super minions kind of push those lanes and get GBM to buy the bait. And she completed Randuin's Omen. Interesting build there.
For what purpose? I'm so confused. I can't help but be overly critical here. Like, what is that giving you? For like, no one on the other team crits. No one has bought any crit on the other team. Maybe it denies an Aatrox crit, but why do that when you could deny the Aatrox's armor with the Last Whisper?
And
or
one
get
thing,
lifesteal to heal back the damage. I don't.
Lifesteal would have probably been the better buy, just with that Kai'Sa going, full AP aside from the Muramana. But the poke damage, we got to see them kind of pull the trigger on just all 5 of us go in. You got the Trundle Pillar coming out, Kai'Sa getting poked out, Kai'Sa
like they want to wait
Trundle going down. So this is going to be the game here. You know, just a last-ditch effort. I'm glad they at least went for it as 5 members. You know, it was good to see, but that is going to be game 1 going to TDK in pretty good fashion. You know, 12 kill Kai'Sa.
Well, I feel like he should have just waited a little bit longer. When Trundle went in there, they had about like 10 seconds left on the Elder Dragon buff. You saw it wear off in the middle of the fight there. So maybe if he waited a little bit longer, he wouldn't have gotten burst as fast and they would have had a better chance. But, you know, good to see that at the very least they didn't just slowly bleed out. They had their, remember the Alamo there.
Yeah, and the Randuin's passive is the minus 20% damage taken from basic attack critical strike. So, you know, the armor not really doing a lot just to mitigate the damage. The 400 health that you get from that item probably sets you up from a little bit more trade damage with the Kai'Sa getting the passives off. But I'm not sure why it was built, but it was built. So maybe it's something that they can look at to improve is just, you know, maintaining those build paths, you know, maybe get a little bit lifesteal or armor pen instead. So, you know, I'm not, and I'm not going to really throw too much shade at GBM. They played it really well. They had a lot of really good team fights despite being at that deficit that we were talking about. But, you know, the TDK just really kind of keeping their advantage going throughout the entire game. Really well done.
Yeah, you see the Jinx pick did the most damage in the game,
did the
so
most damage.
It worked out.
Listen, if you come away with a victory, even if you have 30 deaths, it worked out, okay?
Yeah, unfortunately here for GBM, since they did lose this game, they still are in playoff contention, but it's no longer in their hands at this point. They now need to rely on other teams around them losing out, and it becoming a very polarizing league for them to be able to make it in there.
So from the side of TDK, you know, I really like the Locket pickup from the Morgana and the Redemption. You know, Locket and Redemption are really good once you complete that Zhonya's. You know, if you can get Morgana to the Zhonya's first buy, you know, it really kind of sets you up for, you know, making plays in the, you know, the mid game. So she was able to buy a lot of zoning power from that Zhonya's and ultimate ability. You know, Eclipse going on the Kai'Sa, just going off 12, 4, and 8. You know, really well done.
Yeah, and really bringing the magic damage that the Jinx didn't, making up for that hole in the composition and making it so the Randuin's buy wasn't very effective.
Now, if you had to pick an MVP for Game 1 from TDK, you know, who would you be looking at for that spot?
You know, that's an interesting question because I think a lot of people performed really well on TDK. I feel like it goes to Morgana, actually. She set up a lot of clutch bindings early to get Kai'Sa ahead and make her into the monster that we saw she could be late game. She had that one flank mid game that she didn't quite get the Zonias off in time for, which is a little bit unlucky. But other than that, she performed very well. So I'm gonna give it up to Morgana.
Yeah, and I can definitely second that. So Cameron Beats, definitely getting that MVP for game one, getting always being in position, supporting your team through thick and thin, and definitely maintaining the vision score too. Not the highest, but definitely a good job just keeping that map in a stable area. And I stand corrected, actually, a vision score of 85. So 15 wards destroyed. Really good job there. So vision and positioning, a good job there. I'm not sure if we're going to take just a really quick break, waiting for teams to kind of get this information to me. All right, so we are going to do a 5-minute break here. We will see you everybody back here at exactly 9:45. Be ready for game number 2 of the Dandelion Knights and Glorified Banner Minions.
Yeah, hopefully another close one.
Welcome back, everybody. Again, we are live from my mom's basement. It's only fitting considering that we have GBM versus the Dandelion Knights. So, it's always first thought ganked by mom, but it is the glorified banner minions. So here we are, Bucci Boy 989 and ZZ Dog here bringing you this game. Now, we do have a sub coming in from the side of the glorified banner minions. We have Buff Silas, please. So break it down for me, ZZ Dog.
Yeah, we have Buff Silas Please coming in here for Senpai Daisuke. So, Buff Silas Please likes to play like the hooky sort of supports, like the Thresh, the Pike. So maybe we'll see a more aggressive bot lane coming out here for GBM this time. I mean, they already were pretty aggressive with Xayah Brand, but we'll see if it's aggressive in a more pick kind of oriented way instead of a team fight oriented sense.
And hopefully that brings a lot of what maybe they felt like they were lacking, in their last composition. So, hopefully they can bring a Pike out, and just start going to town. But we have bans coming out pretty standard here, similar to the last game. We're looking at a Mumu Nautilus off the board for TDK, and then GBM bringing the Draven Corki.
Yeah, I really want to see GBM mix up the jungle pick. The Trundle just didn't look like it could have the impact that they were looking for. The Pike does get banned, so we're not going to see that one. Maybe we'll see a Thresh instead. But yeah, I want to see something from GBM along the lines of like, I don't know, maybe Malphite jungle. I hate that pick, but it provide engage, which they sorely lacked last time. Maybe like a J4, Vi, something along those lines, because the Trundle pillar wasn't cutting it.
And we're seeing an adaptation here. We have the Pike ban instead of the Silas right now. So the same bans from the side of the glorified banner minions. TDK making one adaptation because of that sub.
Yeah, Buff Silas Please comes in and you give him his Silas support, I guess. I don't know. Actually, I'm just going to first pick it this time.
Going to take it.
Yeah.
So, Silas coming out from the side of the Dandelion Knights with Xayah coming in again. So that Xayah pick, I really liked it. Really worked well.
Picking away the Sejuani away from TDK this time. See, I like this. Now, Randomonium, he's a big playmaker for the side of GBM. He can have some good engages with that Sejuani all, and hopefully he can make some stuff happen that he couldn't last game.
And this is the adaptation that we were looking for from these teams. Got to be able to make these changes in kind of a clutch position.
The Kaisa coming out, we'll see if they want to pair it along with Morgana again, and they will.
So shout out to that, MVP right now for game one coming from the Cameron Beats for playing on that Morgana, getting a lot of early game picks to really kind of snowball that out of control.
Yeah, what this Morgana pick does is it dissuades that Thresh pick for GBM too. So Morgana very easily counters Thresh because he just black shields whenever he hooks, and then it's not really much engage potential there anymore. So we'll see if the support pick comes out here. And now they're going to wait on it and pick a blind Orianna. Well, actually not blind because it's most likely a Silas.
Yeah, and so, into that Silas, we've seen that pick go, pretty well in the early game because of the attack range, difference that Orianna has over the Silas. So Rammus ban coming in, that is very interesting.
Yeah, Orianna can pretty easily just harass Silas out of mid lane if she plays safe and passive. It does get a little bit sketchy once Silas hits 6. If he manages to catch a chain and gets the sombrero onto Orianna, he does have one-shot potential, but until then, it's very Orianna ran.
And the Garen ban, I wanted to really see the top lane Aatrox ban, because Aatrox, a really good counter, or at least contender to him, is Garen. Now you do have, the side of the Kled open for the. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon.
It's really telegraphing that they want to go with the Aatrox here and run it back. You pick two good you ban two matchups that are pretty good into him. I know GBM's top also plays things along the lines of Camille and Alawi. So I believe Camille is a skill matchup into Aatrox, and I think that you can kind of run away with that one. The Rakan is left up after second phase of bans, and that's a really nice pair up with the Xayah, though. So an aggressive bot lane from GBM this game.
The old Xayah Rakan combo, level 1, pop W on the Xayah, and just start throwing autos at the enemy team. It doesn't matter where they go as long as they land.
Yeah, the only problem that you have with Xayah Rakan into Morgana is that if Morgana is fast on the uptake, you can actually Q Rakan out of his W and deny the knockup that way, just like Lux can. So it's a little bit tough for Rakan to get those engages in lane, but maybe we'll see some good engage mid game because once again, that was what they were lacking, and they got plenty of it here with Sejuani Rakan.
And TDK wrapping up the composition here with Tristana Scion, so that's probably going to be a Tristana mid Sylas jungle.
So it would seem another double 80 carry composition here. I wonder if we're going to see
and the Kale lock-in. Awesome.
Match the double marksman with the double marksman. We got the Kale.
Now the Kale in the late game just becomes a monster. You throw in her side lane, nobody can fight against her 1v1. And that team fight ultimate.
See, Kale is going to be really scary here in lane, actually, because Kale can just sit there with Klepto and farm those procs off of Scion. Scion can't really stop her from doing that. She just walks up and presses E. The buff D this patch, man, 5 more damage. It's broke.
Hey, 5 more damage is 5 more damage.
Yeah, man. That denies the 5 health Scion gets from cannons, dude. Balances it out.
And we have ultimate balance here. You know, I'm pretty sure. Surprised
all
Karma's
things should be.
I'm surprised Karma's not in the game, but we still have balance. So we're just waiting for them to start this up. Let's go. Here we go. All right, so they're going to go through the real, pick and bans. And, while we're waiting for that, we can kind of talk through these compositions. So early game, what are we looking for on the side of the Dandelion Knights?
I want to see Sylas being bought very often. Your Morgana counters the Rakan. He can't engage very well onto a lane with Morgana. So I want to see Sylas waiting down there, getting a gank off whenever Rakan is looking to go aggressive. And from there, you can just see the snowball happen again, just like last game. The Morgana and Kai'Sa just ran away with it, and I'd like to see that happen again. On the side of GBM, I want to see the Sejuani snowball, the Sejuani, I want to see snowball the top lane with the Kale, because the Kale is already in the favorable matchup. If you gank pre-6, the Kale is still melee and procs your stacks for you. After 6, it becomes a little bit more difficult, but in exchange, you have your ultimate to proc it yourself, so... Either way, I want to see that early aggression top lane for them, because if that Kale gets snowballing, then she's going to be very hard to deal with come mid-game.
Absolutely. And maybe a little glimmer of hope there from TDK is that the Sylas can steal that ultimate and just dive into the team fight or, save someone with the sliver of health, turn the tide.
See, that's a good point, because Sylas has so many fun ultimates. Like if I'm the Sylas in this game, I am overjoyed, because I see Sejuani ultimate, which is just such a good engage tool. Rakan ult, which is such a good engage tool. Kale ult to save my team. Xayah ult to save myself. There are just so many options that you have as the Sylas here. If this was a pre-change Sylas when you had that 16-second cooldown, you're just drooling over this. Like, I can Rakan ult and Kale ult. Like, fortunately, can't quite do that anymore, but you can still pick one or the other, and both are really valid options.
The feast of many ults. So we're going to see if TDK can take that Sylas and just utilize all of that utility or additional ultimates there to kind of ramp up the team comp. One thing I always liked doing as Sylas was stealing the Sejuani ult and just catching a squishy out.
Yeah, Sejuani is very good at catches. Is also good at starting off a team fight. Rakan ult is also very good at that, and Rakan ult has a massive AP ratio. Like, AP Rakan is still like viable. It's not as good as it once was, but like your AP ratios are actually just insane. So when you put it on a champion that builds a lot of AP, it does a lot of damage, and when you can do it to 5 people by just walking at them, it's going to be a bit of a chunk.
And right now we have Exhaust coming from the side of the Orianna. Really interesting seeing that come out.
I guess you're kind of scared of the Tristana jumping in for that all-in, but it's actually looking to be the Scion jungle with the Sylas top lane.
Interesting. It's still going to be a favored matchup for Kale in the early game. See if she can just win those trades.
Well, not necessarily. Pre-6, this is actually really difficult for Kale, because unlike Scion, Sylas can actually get up in your face and just smack you around if you ever try and walk up to him. You have to play very passive and give Silas the prio in that lane before 6. After 6, you can kind of start to harass him, but there's still a lot of all-in threat from the Silas there. That's a very good flex by the side of TDK to get out of that unfavorable matchup and make it a favorable one.
Yeah, and Oriana holding on to that exhausted as well. I really want to see the Sejuani go up and, try to get Waffles that Silas, off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, like even more now than it was before. Like your Kale had a favorable matchup, so you could kind of go wherever. But at this point, if you're Sejuani, you're looking at that Silas top, and you're like, okay, well, she's just gonna smash my Kale if I am not up there 24/7. So I want to see a lot of top focus. Also, the Scion jungle is, as much as I like the Silas going top, I do not like the Scion in the jungle because the Scion kind of just wants to hard farm. It's very hard for Scion to gank unless something's already going wrong in that lane. Like if Morgana catches out Rakan with a binding, then sure Scion can come in and get a kill, but you probably get the kill anyway without him.
Yeah, and maybe they're just looking to get those stacks of the bonus health from killing those jungle creeps and just kind of letting him get to those high HP, absorbing a lot of damage in these mid game team fights. But we're gonna look to see how the Oriana can get that command shockwave into position. Making sure that he gets those primary targets down so that those fights don't go an extended duration.
Yeah, and I want to see if there's any interesting rune choices here. Let's check out the Porofessor real quick. Okay, I already spot one that I don't know if I really agree with. We have the Grasp of the Undying on the Scion. See, that one's a bit odd because when you have Grasp, you want to be able to proc it. So that leads me to think that the Scion wants to gank a lot, but how are you going to gank? You're just going to walk up into the...
Just going to walk up and
you're going to walk into the lane, press E, and even then, it's pretty hard to get anything done that way.
Well, we'll see how they can get, this Scion into position. Maybe he doesn't need to worry too much about walking into lane if he can just get behind, his target. Silas does have really good gank assist, so you don't really need that hard CC coming out of the jungle.
I mean, this is true, but like you would expect the Silas to have the lane prio there, so Scion trying to get a gank off there, you'd almost have to be diving.
Which you can do if you have the one grasp proc can heal you for enough to survive a tower kill shot. So we'll see how it goes because Kale does not have ignite. There are actually no ignites on the side of glorified banner minions, which opens the side of the Dandelion Knights for maybe a little bit more of an aggressive build. They don't have to worry too much about sustaining, through that healing reduction off the start.
Another interesting rune. I think this one's pretty standard, but Hail of Blades on the Tristana in that solo lane is going to give her a lot of burst potential onto the Oriana. I think people go back and forth between Press the Attack and Hail of Blades. Like, Press the Attack is better for the extended fights, but if you just want to burst one-shot somebody, that Hail of Blades is going to let you stagger that charge real quick and then jump right back out.
All right, and we are here at Skin It to Win It, and I must say that we are pretty bang on even here. Only the mid laner, top laner, just kind of showing off those default skins, which, hey, no shame in that, but we do have kind of a theme going against the Eclipse, the TDK, ADC, and then the Buff Silas, please, with the IG skins coming out. So
I'm going to give this one over to GBM, I think. Warmonger Scion doesn't really do it for me personally.
I always like Poro Rider Sejuani, so I can definitely go for that. So, and obviously Iron Inquisitor Kale just really showing up here.
Yeah, the IG skins kind of cancel each other out. I think they're the best skins in this game, but both team has one, so.
Oh, never doubt the bewitching Morgana, sir. But
we already heard earlier what you think of bewitching Morgana. I don't think you need to
it's not sinful succulence, but it'll pass. So here we go, game 1. goes to TDK Dandelion Knights with MVP going out to that Morgana in the bot lane. Let's see if they're able to kind of throw in a repeat here, maybe set themselves up for a really good playoff entry bout here. So,
Gosh, Kale's character model is actually just so small. I didn't realize quite how small it is.
oh yeah, it's tiny. Wow. So here we go. We don't have any 5-man groupings up. We just got the line of defense across both sides, just trying to, find someone who is maybe just giving us a little bit more information than normal. Now, Sejuani was visible, but just not to the Scion. So they don't know that she's starting red side just yet.
Yeah, looks like both teams are pretty content to just 5-point, and I don't blame them. After how close that early game was last game, you kind of just want to play it slow, especially if you're TDK, you're pretty confident. Oh, we just got this again. We can just run it back, play it slow, and we'll win late again.
Yeah, and both junglers starting on that top side. Actually, no, correction. Scion is running down toward the bottom. So Sejuani is going to start on the top side, maybe leave her pathing toward bot for an early gank or mid.
Mirrored red starts, it looks like. Oh, Randomonium's actually walking towards bot side. He's going to be a bit late, I think.
It is
Gonna
going
have
to
to
be close. You
burn
got 4
blast
seconds.
cone, I think. Yep. Just gonna burn the blast cone to get over there. Makes it in time.
Yeah, no big deal there. Blast cone that early on is not that important.
No, not particularly. This will mean, though, that Scion is going to have that early jungle advantage because he gets his level 3 off 3 camps, whereas Sejuani is going to have to take that 4th if she's going full clear. Scion is pathing towards the Raptors. I guess we'll have to see if he goes back down to sync up his camps and then go for the gank bot lane, or if he's just going to start pathing towards top. I would like to see him go Cycle Krugs as fast as possible because he's going to get a lot of health from those, but I guess we'll see if he wants to just go for that early gank top as fast as possible.
And just really high health jungling from the side of the Scion. That Hunter's Talisman doing work on those Raptors.
He already did pop one of his refillable pots, though, so that's also keeping him topped off.
All right, so not a lot of trading here. We got a little bit of the Silas going on to the Kayle top lane, getting her below half HP, just getting some of that early trade damage that you were talking about in Champ Select.
See, that's what I mean. Silas can just really take it to Kayle early. Kayle has just no pressure in this lane, and
now Kayle has held on to all 3 of her corrupting potion charges, so that would have been a little bit of beneficial trade damage there. But that helps you in the sustain there, or a little bit later down the road.
Right, that Tristana Hail of Blades burst just destroying the Orianna mid lane.
Chunked all the way down to 250 HP.
Yeah, just jumped in, got the charge, and jumped right back out. Well, actually just walked out, but do what you can do.
You do what you can do. And there's another one, flash down, exhaust down as well. Ignite coming, not going to be able to secure the kill, but all summoners down mid lane, both really low. Tristana taking a tower shot here. Now Sedge getting in position to try and catch Tristana out, but probably just going to walk up and get some of these minions.
Yeah, and this is good actually for Sejuani.
Oh, Root coming down from the side of the Morgana, getting trade damage. Oh, heal burnt from the side of Glorified Banner minion.
If you're Sejuani, you're pretty happy about getting that early XP lead from soaking mid. It's a bit unfortunate for your Orianna because she's now pretty much a full level down on the Tristana, and it's just gonna get harder for her to deal with. Tristana with Halo Blades functions as
we got a lot of action here. You got Rakan going down into the bot lane. First Blood going out to the Morgana from the Ignite. Really well done. Good Root combination and Ignite.
That's what I mean. It's so hard as Rakan to play into Morgana because if you ever go aggressive, the Morgana can deny you your dashes with that bind because they're all linear. You know exactly where they're going. All you have to do is time it right.
And I think the one big thing there was Morgana got the Ignite down, which reduced a lot of the healing. Heal was already burnt from the side of the Xayah, so they didn't have it in the fight.
Good on the Kayle, though. Top lane, she is accruing a CS lead here. So
okay, Tristana going on to the Orianna, getting a lot of that trade damage in. Orianna already burst down. Sedge is in place, missed the charge, got one of the flays in place, but not enough.
Looks like Sidon was looking for maybe a dive top lane, but decided better and just backed off.
Which is that's acceptable this early in the game. You don't want to get that Kayle started.
I'm just still curious why the decision was made for Grasp over the Aftershock here, because right now he's sitting on exactly 0 Grasp procs, and I mean, granted he hasn't really ran into anyone yet, but that's kind of the point, right? You want to run into people if you got Grasp.
And you can really get those Grasp procs off if you die. You can probably get it off 2-3 times in the middle of a team fight, just utilizing the speed steroid. But not a lot happening in this game. Not too much gank potential from the side of the Scion. Just that one kill down bot lane from Solo. Now Orianna getting engaged on ultimate and secures the kill and the hop away.
Yeah,
Really
like I
good
said, that
trade.
Tristana is basically a pseudo assassin when you have Halo Blades. You get that charge cooked so quickly that you can just jump in, quick 3 auto, ult away, and jump right back out with the reset it gives when it explodes. So good,
Really good job from Tristan.
Yeah, good all in there.
Just knowing the power spike, knowing where you can go aggressive.
Looks like we're getting an interesting build from the Tristana, because I believe the meta build is still the Bork on solo lane Tristana. Maybe that's just for top lane, but it looks like we're getting something out of Pickaxe here, probably Infins, so we're going to see Crit Marksman here this time.
Which will go really, really well hand in hand with that Hail of Blades, because you don't need to get the attack speed as early. You just get those really quick autos off, get the crit, and pop the grenade.
Well, I don't know about that one, man. It's going to get countered by the Randuin's late game.
Hey, don't knock the Randuins.
I am going to knock the Randuins, and I'm going to
game to build it.
Knock the Randuins.
So we're looking here, like I said, lane's kind of playing pretty passive, minus the 2 catches. You got the Xayah getting the root off onto the Morgana.
Root.
Good flash.
Forces out the flash.
Forces a flash from the Morgana. Really good job.
Yeah,
really good cat.
And now, if you're Rakan, right now, I would look to play aggressive, because the Black Shield is down for about another 10 seconds. Your W should be up with about a 5-second window. I think that time window is passed now.
We're going to see here the Sejuani is sought out by the Oracle plant. So Scion is going to be able to just go and clear some vision. Sejuani just dashes over the wall. So not a lot traded there.
Yeah, and we're seeing Kale is managing to stay a bit even in CS top lane, so nothing too bad going down there.
We got a gank come down mid. Now Sejuani is 6, waiting to burn out some of this summoner's exhaust coming down, but Ori is going really low now. Blaster shot comes out, waiting to see if the Sejuani ultimate already used. Flashes over the wall. Interesting.
Oh, that was really close, actually. The Scion almost tagged Orianna with that E there.
But they should be able to get turret plates from this.
Yeah, Tristana is going to be able to push that one down pretty easily, I think. On the topic of questionable rune decisions, though, this Kale right now is sitting on exactly, let me double check, 20 gold from Kleptomancy and 0 items at 8 minutes.
Just not able to get those trades
just not able to get those E's off on Silas. Like, I don't know what her trade pattern is, but I can't help but question it if she's just using E to clear, maybe, if it's that hard for her, but
I think she's a little forced to in order to stay this close in CS. Now Silas going aggressive top. He is getting a lot of the trade damage. The apprehend getting him into position, or sorry, the abscond and abduct getting him into position to land a lot of those autos.
Yeah, and you can see the Kale was trading back there with auto attacks as she was running, but she didn't use the abilities until after the fact, which I think is part of what's contributing to that Kleptomancy just really not looking like it's doing anything, unfortunately. So maybe something to work on, trying to get those abilities weaved in between your auto attacks more.
Yeah, and we'll see where these teams turn, because you do have an Ocean Drake that is up, which would be really beneficial from both teams.
Yeah, you can hear all the time when pros talk about early dragons. They're like, I don't care if you sack my top lane. If you get me early Ocean, I win the game. So
yep.
Definitely want to look down there.
Using a lot more of your abilities and pushing these lanes. So
Yeah, it looks like
I'm getting a ping here from the glorified banner minions on the dragon, but I don't think they're gonna go in for it with
yeah,
both bot lanes.
Zaya's Rakan's pretty low on mana. You kind of just have to back there, otherwise you're probably just gonna get caught out and die. So smartly, they decide against that call.
Yeah, really good choice there. Not a lot happening right now. You have Sejuani looking for a gank mid, but she's gonna just clear out a ward, maybe get a little bit of vision on her own. Morgana looks like she's possibly rotating up.
I think she's just clearing vision around Dragon. Yep, looks like she's just coming back top.
Now, Silas did steal the Sejuani ult, so I want to see him use that aggressively on one of these laners, whether it's top or mid.
See, I would have liked to see him just dive the Kale instead, but looks like he has a little bit of a timer left on that Kale ult, but it can't be any more than like, I don't know, it looks like 15 seconds-ish until he could have stole that, so I would have liked to see him just wait and steal Kale ult and dive her, because he has one-shot potential right now.
Yeah, Tristana catching out a lot of that vision here, getting more on the dragon. So it looks like we're actually going to have TDK rotate to the dragon first. So
yeah, and Sejuani's top lane, so this is just there.
Silas lands the abscond onto the Kale, gonna get burnt the Kale ultimate. So now he has all sorts of pressure. He can definitely look to get more plays off that tower.
I would have liked to see him burn the Sejuani ult there. If he burnt it when Kale ulted, he could have just gotten the Q off afterwards and gotten the
he
kill.
goes back in, taking a little bit of turret, force the flash out. He is going to land a Sejuani ult for the turn, so yeah, Sej going to turn and do the same thing to her. Rakan on the bot side getting the root knock up. Exhaust going down onto the Kaisa, so they're able to win out on that trade. Oh, miss flash over the wall is going to...
Yeah,
good ultimate out. Rakan going in, now forced to burn the heal.
Yep.
Rakan is getting burnt down. Sion is bot. Rakan is just going to dash out with the extended range, so they should be able to get out of this. Now, they are both out of mana. You got Tristana was thinking about rotating down, but changed her mind.
When all is said and done, still good trade, 1 for 0 there to GBM, so getting something back.
And a lot of summoners burnt too, bot lane, from the side of TDK.
Looks like Tristana is still getting the better of that mid matchup, up about 30 CS at this point, and forcing Orianna back again so she can just keep farming that tower plating. You can see why this pick was banned first game now. It's pretty impressive, it looks like.
Absolutely. 1,100 gold up in kills, CS, and turret plates. So
doesn't look like she's quite going to get this full tower, but she's probably going to be able to get infin on this next back.
Now, Kale is now starting to get a little bit of the trade before Silas has a chance to back. A lot of money inside of Silas. Now, we have Tristana going in for the trade. Oh, good shockwave there from the Orianna. Exhaust used. Ignite used as well. So close there from the Orianna. A slight glimmer of hope.
Sejuani's going in to try and clean it up, though. He's going to walk over a ward.
Now, first turret is going to go down, and Tristana's just going to hop over the wall. Let's see how far this Silas chases for it. This Sejuani chases.
He does have flash.
And she's just going to walk out right there.
Yeah, she sees the Sejuani on that ward by Raptor, so she knows which way she's going and can just easily walk away.
Nice little game of hide and seek. Now, Tristana's going to go home with a victory in that column. So, really good trade there. Good escape. Just overall well done job. Now, Root coming down onto the Xayah. Rakan going aggressive, but not able to lock anybody down. So, not a lot traded for that.
Silas is looking for the Sejuani in the jungle now.
Oh, and he's going to find her. Got her, tag, you're it. See if Silas can steal the ultimate. There's a dash over the wall. Not in position to follow it, but
Silas, unfortunately, does miss his second proc of the Q damage, so he can't get Sejuani low enough for the execute damage on W.
Now, we're going to have 2 collapse onto this Sion. He still has flash and his ultimate to get out of there, so flash burnt from the Sion.
Don't worry, dude. That was his first grass proc.
All right. So now Sejuani getting procced out of, getting caught going back for that red buff. Now we knew the red buff was taken. We got a big fight coming down bot lane. A lot of trade damage coming in favor of the actual GBM bot lane getting all that damage in.
Yeah, but Kaisa is the one who really comes out ahead of that, because GBM's bot has to back now, Morgana has to back now, but Kaisa's still pretty healthy, so she can just sit here, maintain a freeze, and just get solo XP.
And that Ocean Drake is just, doing work for that Kaisa right now. We're gonna have Silas and Sion take the Rift Herald while Tristan is just pushing this Kale in. So we got two people top. We got Oriana rotated. Oh, Shockwave mid jump was able to interrupt that, but not going to be able to get a lot from that. Flash from Triss, flash for flash. Your Sion going in with the ultimate. Going to see if he's able to burn out the Kale ultimate. There's the Kale ultimate. So one person's got to go down. Now they are going to get out for that 1-for-0 and the turret.
Yeah, if you're GBM here, you really want to try and get this game to slow down, because right now, like, you have a Kale, you have a Xayah.
Oh, Triss is going to catch out Sejuani. Sejuani's forced to dash out. Rift Herald used top lane, so this game is slipping.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a pretty fast snowball here.
Yeah,
getting echoes of yesterday.
And they'll get the free inner turret. Bot lane has to back, and they're going to be forced to give up that bot turret. Kale ultimate taken from the Silas. Tristana getting a lot of damage off.
Yeah, now you can just kind of push with impunity. You have the Kale ultimate. There's nothing for Tristana to be afraid of, even if she gets the 20 ulted.
The Abscond just missed.
I think you're pretty happy that that one missed if you're Silas.
Probably. Now you have the Kale ultimate, and your flash is up, so you could probably make a play. If you really
at the same time, there's 5 people there, and I don't think you're going to be able to move enough to flash
just
out.
Just missed it again. So Sejuani was there alone. If that landed, that probably was a death there for the Sejuani. Now flash is up for her. Ping's coming down to Dragon. See if we can get, another Ocean Drake under the belt of TDK.
I want to see if this Silas is going for the Lichbane route, or if he's going for something else. Because I'd like to see the Lichbane come out. Right now he's been just dominating the solo lane, and he can very easily just split push with Lichbane and just destroy towers very quickly.
Now we have 3 bot. Morgana catches the Rakan, but not a lot's going to be taken. Just Pink Ward dropped and taking Dragon.
Yeah, and once again, you have double AD carry, so you kind of just shred this. Ocean's probably not the one you were hoping for, but you'll still take it.
I mean, with all the siege potential that you have to force them out with the Kaisa poke, with the Tristana poke, just force them out of lane, back off a little bit, regen, and then go take turrets again.
I mean, this is true, but at the same time, you're probably hoping for a mountain sometime, because your win condition is really just sieging down these towers as fast as possible with Tristana, so having that extra damage is always nice.
Yep, so not a lot able to be taken. Silas taking 2 turret shots there. They can force this fight. They have the man advantage. They have everybody handy. Now Sion gets ultimate from the Sejuani while bot lane is taking turrets for TDK. So good little collapse there.
If you're TDK, I think you're fine with that. Sion isn't really doing anything anyway, so him going down isn't really the end of the world. Plus, you trade bot tower for it. You open up the map now that outer ring is gone. At this point, you can start setting up vision. Well, you can't really start setting up vision yet around Baron because it'll all expire by the time it spawns. But in about 30 seconds, you can start setting up vision for it.
And really what it comes down to, I'm okay with the Sion going down because what was taken from the side of GBM while he was dead, while you had the man advantage, while everybody back.
But, crucially... Oh, never mind. I was going to say crucially, Sion got another grass proc there, but he actually didn't. He's still at 1 grass proc.
All right, well, Sejuani's getting caught out here. Silas is going to miss the Abscond duck, but Sejuani's still going to go down for free. Now, Silas has the Sejuani ultimate still in his pocket, so he can use that and just make another pick here.
Yeah, Silas is doing a good job of being wherever his team needs him. Really getting those roams off.
And I want to see them start utilizing his advantage. I want to see them put him in a side lane and start pressuring this mid and top lane again.
Yeah, especially because when you have the Sedge ult, I don't think anyone can even try and stop you. You probably need, I would say you probably need 3 people at that point, because Silas, who's like this far ahead, can very easily just one-shot either the ADC or the mid lane. He fails the Abscond there over the wall, so he can't catch out the enemy bot lane there, unfortunately.
Now Tristana is running down bot lane. She's about halfway there, and Sejuani is forced to fight over the red buff. Now Rakan going in, Xayah getting a lot of the trade damage onto the Morgana, but Sylas going in, whiffing the Sejuani ult. Trist has arrived, just poggers on some people, just jumping on their heads. Leapfrog is right. So he'll going down from the Kai'Sa to make sure that Sylas lives. Now,
she actually didn't even hit the Sylas with it.
So
Sylas was just out of range, so could have been bad there if the tower shot would have killed him. But
a
not
3-for-0 plus some turrets. Now they can probably get this inhibitor turret. They still have 6 seconds on Xayah coming up. So Sion is going to tank the turret. Good move there. You know, the second that minion wave dies, the harder it becomes. And you do have double Ocean Drake.
Looks like we are going to see that Lich Bane come out for Sylas, so his split push is going to be really hard to deal with.
Oh, and here, the Morgana binding kind of stops them in their tracks. Good job from the Morgana again, just keeping the positioning of the enemy team at bay. So Sylas is going to take top and hit turret. So 3 turrets there from the fight, from the perspective of TDK. Splash out from Sylas on the Sejuani ult. You got Xayah landing some good autos onto the Sion, just not getting enough damage. Rakan going down about half HP. Sion ulting forward. Rakan just being a little bit tricky with getting out of that trap there. Sion is going to drop here in just a second. Let's see if he can make anything happen from the Glory and Death passive.
He does get his second grass proc of the game.
All right.
So we're averaging about 1 grass proc every 10 minutes. Worthwhile choice.
And that was a 1-for-0 on the side of GBM. Now they did lose the bot inhibitor. Now Sylas is just being a nuisance in that top lane. So we'll see if they can transition this. Now Sylas does steal the Kayle ultimate. Rakan, just trying to get in position, clear out some vision, and try and make a catch here.
All right, Sion goes for the stone plate, second item. That's an interesting choice. I would have expected the Warmogs first, but I mean, I guess if you have enough health from passive and grasp, then maybe you just go to the stone plate.
And Warmogs is really good when you get out of combat. So you do already have the double Ocean Drake, Infernal Drake spawning here in just a few seconds. They are going to try to make a catch on this Sylas though, but Sylas is actually going to say who caught who. Here it is. Sylas is going to get knocked up, and he can't use the ultimate. So who caught who, Sylas? You got caught. So really good job from the side of GBM, just capitalizing on that misposition there. Now,
fortunately for GBM, the kill gold does go over to Rakan, so he gets that big shutdown gold. You would have liked to have that on the Xayah.
Oh, Tristana going on to the Xayah here. Tristana is going to get the kill. Gonna get locked up, but it's not enough just to hop right over the wall. So no damage was there to kind of back up the Xayah. So really good catch there. Maybe a little bit of aggressive pathing from the side of the Scholar weapon, just being called out a little bit. Now with the double ADC, they can force this Baron, that's exactly what they're gonna do to get vision and clear this buff. Sejuani just went back to base. This should be theirs, and it's already down half HP, 5,000 health. Dropping quickly. So
see if the Rakan Q can get the godlike steal way too early.
You got to try it.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really have any other options at this point. Like maybe you can make that highlight reel.
Yeah, Sejuani was not gonna make it in time either. So that's just throw Q over the wall, hope you get it, and just back off. So the lane resetting here. Sylas is clearing out some vision. Let's see if he can actually assassinate somebody without going down.
Interesting itemization here from the Kai'Sa, deciding to go the Nashers before the Gwynsus this time.
Yeah, and if you just don't have enough gold to finish one item, you might as well go for something else. But the cooldown reduction for that W is pretty important, when landing the poke, because you already know that your Tristana is going to get the consistent damage through the start of the fight.
I mean, your Tristana is more burst focused though. Like she's going for that Hail of Blades. She's basically functioning as an assassin right now. Your job is to provide that sustained DPS, which is going to be a little bit worse when you're delaying that Gwynsus.
But
I don't think it's going to matter too much though when you're up 10,000
is just going to melt the turrets here in just a second. They have Baron buff. They can do what they want Triss dropping the Sejuani really low, below half HP. Silas jumping over the wall, getting caught out a little bit by the actual Sejuani ultimate. So this is a really good fight. Waiting to see if we can get those Orianna balls into position, but she's clearing minions right now. Xayah forced ultimate away, is gonna go down here in just a second. No, that's Rakan getting dropped. And there goes the Xayah from the kill, and this is going to be the end of the game. They can just turn this into a win here. So 2-0 from the side of the Dandelion Knights.
Yeah, no, pretty commanding fashion here too, game 2. Like, this Tristana just got ahead and just rolled over the game. They used that pick so efficiently to get those pushes down in those side lanes, transition that lead.
And he definitely held his own in that lane, just directing the state of that lane into the state of the entire game. So just throwing it out there, my MVP award right now kind of goes to that Yestrael on that.
Yeah, I would definitely say game 2 goes to Yestrael. He transitioned that lead so well.
So really good job there from the side of the Dandelion Knights. Glorified Banner minions, they're not entirely out of playoffs, but I think as you said, it is kind of out of their hands. But they can maybe take this into next season, watch these games, definitely learn a lot from what we have going on. So see if we can improve a little bit, maybe make some minor changes onto the side of the macro and turn that instead of losses into victory.
And I mean, it is still like there's still the mathematical possibility GBM can squeeze into that 4th spot, but it's really unlikely and it relies on a lot of luck. It's no longer really in their hands for it. So, hopefully they can manage to make it back in, but it's pretty much secure that they're not going to be making playoffs, unfortunately for them.
And just looking at the damage charts, that Tristana did massive amounts of work to champions just on that Hail of Blades, just getting those procs off. So, 16,000 when the next closest was that Silas on the same team at 11,000. So I am going to have to drop out here in a second. I'm going to have, Shadow's going to step in and do the post-game interview with you. Thank you very much for the games tonight. So I'll leave it to you guys for the post-game.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, I would love to get the mid lane in here because I'm just so curious about that Jinx pick still. Yep. Cool. Excited.
Hello.
All right. Talk me through the Jinx pick. What is the thought process behind it, and where did the theory craft for that build come from?
Alright, so that build is Zap Jinx. I got it from a streamer called Aqua Dragon. He usually does off meta stuff like if you remember AD Mouse Hard Jungle being a thing for a while, he's been playing that for many seasons. And he's also done like AP Kog'Maw mid and a lot of the sort of off meta picks. He's recently started pushing for Zap Jinx, and the idea behind this build is that you use max W, and W does a lot of damage on a short cooldown. It's like a 2.2 second cooldown at full CDR. It slows for 2 seconds, and it's like 1,650 range or something like that, 1,000 something. So the idea is you're doing a lot of damage from really far, and you can just keep chaining Ws forever, and it's really hard to stop.
I mean, it looked like it.
And their team was really immobile. Like, not a lot of them had dashes except for, the LeBlanc. But beyond that, it looked like a really good game because, once I land 1W, they're slowed. They're not going to be able to get really far. We had the Morgana Q to follow up. A lot of stuff.
Yeah, and so you were also playing it very effectively too, because you were just able to get out of those like trundle ganks so effectively. They threw the trundle at you like
Yeah,
6 or 7 times in lane, and like the first three you didn't even have to blow flash for it.
I think the LeBlanc was a little passive in lane. I feel like she might have been scared by the Jinx and didn't think she could jump on me. But I think if she was a little more aggressive, I wouldn't have as good of a time.
All right. And then we also saw that the second game you pulled out the Tristana mid. So is like the double ADC type of combo the playstyle that you guys are really going for this season?
I really enjoy it because truth be told, I'm kind of an ADC main who just does not like to play bot. So it works for me. Like, yeah, the Trist mid is really good. I like it a lot. I know it's been picking up some steam, but not really the Halo Blade specifically. But Press the Attack Trist mid has been picking up steam, and it just kind of fits.
Yeah, it definitely looked like with the Halo Blades iteration there that you almost functioned as like a pseudo assassin
Mhm.
with that ignite. You just jump in, quick proc your charge, and jump right back out for the one shot.
Yep.
So playing, multiple marksmen on a comp is definitely not really meta. I mean, I know that you can get away with it this season
Yeah.
because of everything that Riot's done, and that's really pretty interesting. What adjustments did you guys have to make as a team to handle that? Because with two marksmen, you don't really have great wave clear, which is something that a lot of teams like to
Yeah.
enjoy. So, what adjustments did you guys make for that?
Sometimes we do struggle with the lack of wave clear, and if we're not ahead early on, a lot of some of the adjustments are in bot lane where we try to have a more focus there because I tend to be a little more consistent. So we try to get both marksmen up and running. And a lot of our junglers picks have been like towards what these double marksman comps need. Sometimes he'll play Ivern, sometimes he'll pick tanks. Like it just depends on the enemy team, but mostly it's just in what champions we pick, how we spread the APAD. Like if I'm on Corki, which gets banned a lot, then Eclipse can play more heavy AD champions. Usually the mentality when playing the game usually is like we try to group up team fight, but as far as the adjustments go, it's mostly just in how we build the team comps.
So then, my follow-up question to that is, you made it work. Who was it your idea to suggest it, and then how did the team react to it
Yeah,
when you
it's
offered that
mainly
up?
been me. It's been like it's mainly me saying, "Oh, I want to play Corki. Oh, I want to play Jinx mid." Which when you say you want to play Jinx mid, you usually expect a bit of backlash towards that.
That seems like a fair assessment, absolutely.
My team's really accommodating though. Like besides one or two like sort of like it doesn't sound great, but they trust me. If I really say I really want to pick this, they'll be like, okay, you can go ahead and pick it. And I think I'm really happy for that kind of team. Like having a team that's willing to accommodate whatever I throw at them.
For
Because I
sure.
do throw a lot of random ideas out.
Well, it looks like this one worked, so
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that the next few weeks of the season we might get to see some more interesting picks from you because this was a fun comp to watch.
Yeah, it was really fun to play too. It was a pretty good game overall. Like I know we kind of stomped them the second game, but honestly, the game could have really gone either way. Like if those ganks on me had pulled off a little bit better, then I wouldn't have gotten nearly as ahead. If they had stalled out a little longer for the kill, our comp would have started stagnating a bit. Like I think I'm glad that we ended that out really quickly before they could make up for their early game loss.
Yeah, you guys did a really great job of pushing the game pace there. Got anything else for him, Shadow?
No, congratulations on your win. I know that
Thank
was
you.
important to you guys to keep your playoff hopes alive, and
Yep.
pass along our congratulations. GG's to the rest of your team, and we will hopefully see you guys another time on stream.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I hope we get streamed more. It's a lot of fun.
All right, well, thanks for joining us.
Cool. Thank you for having me.
All right, any closing thoughts, ZZ Dog?
No, not particularly. I think this was a pretty good series, pretty close. So happy with how this one went.
Yeah, entertaining series. Great picks. I loved seeing the double marksman comps. Loved hearing some of the thought process behind it. This wasn't something they just kind of threw out there, right? They talked about it. They made some adjustments. They practiced it. You can't ask for anything better than that in a league like this. So,
Yeah,
congrats
you
to them.
always love to hear about the team cohesion, allowing for people to be free with what they want to do. So
Yep. All right. Well, I think that'll wrap us up for the evening. Thanks everyone for joining us. I'm Shadow 2097, ZZ Dog, and Bucci Boy was your play-by-play caster for the evening. Wishing you a good night and see you again next time.
hasta luego.